Yeah, we're farming 238 hectares here. We've got approximately 20 hectares now in pine trees. Started planting when we first came here, so they're the oldest ones of them are 13 years old. We've concentrated on fencing off the wetlands and the steeper parts of the farm first. So there's approximately 5 hectares of wetlands now that is fenced off and protected from stock. We try and winter 500 to 550 cattle. We have 100 breeding cows. We hand rear 150 Frisian bulls, and they're taken through till 15 months. All the progeny from the breeding cows are fattened. The heifers go as local trade. That held for about 15 months as well, killed at a 400 kilo live weight type thing. And the steers are taken through 2 winters. We try to get them to 600 kilos. And the bulls, yeah, they're taken to 500 kilos as their target live weight.
And who looks after the calves?
Do the 150. They come in early August, and they're housed down there in the shed, which we saw. So there's 140 that can actually fit in the shed there, and if we do any extra, they're just popped in the wool shed. They're reared on a once a day system with being fed once a day. It's a high concentrate milk feed with ab-lib meal and hay available as well, plus plenty of fresh water which is available to them, and those troughs are cleaned out every morning as well to make sure that water does stay fresh. They're in the shed until they're 65 kilos. They're weaned off milk at 65 kgs. They're put out on grass, and then they're given the ab-lib meal available to them then as well until they reach 100 kilos.
Well, it's been a trying season. We've had extremes. In November, which is supposed to be our best month, we had no rain at all virtually. Then December came and it didn't stop raining. We grew more grass in December and we lost control of it, of course, but now with January came, it stopped again, so losing control of it was a good thing. We've actually got a bit of surplus, so unfortunately we've lost quality, but at least it's still something for them to eat. We had a little bit of rain yesterday, but we need a lot more than this. Well, we're a light sandy, brown sand, pumice soil here. It's got its challenges. Drying out's one of them. The bulls are a problem because they do dig holes here, so it's an issue. That's why we keep the mobs small, and we don't take them through that second winter, because the bigger they get, the bigger the holes they dig. We don't have a pugging problem to any major extent, and the small mobs of 50 help that as well, and shifting them regularly. We had an experiment mob last winter. It was a mob of dairy grazers. They were just a small mob. They were just shifted once a week over the winter, and that paddock's grown more weeds, and there's more hillside damage in that paddock than anywhere else on the farm. So it sort of proved to me that this rotation, constant moving, is a big thing in this country. Heavily in consultation with our vets, we're always talking to them. When we were at a Baywide Focus Farm was a big learning curve, and we got involved with the vets then, and we've carried that on. So we're constantly testing blood and liver samples at the works. We're doing fetal samples now in the calves to identify when we need to drench them. Blood tests are done annually to identify copper and cobalt's below with the fert, and selenium's in the drenches and that sort of thing. So animal health is a big job, and it's ongoing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We've got a tree planting program here. Most of it's been radiata. The policy is to plant 5 hectares every 5 years. My main goal is it's going to give us income in our retirement. We've theoretically got a hectare a year to harvest, but that's coming in. All those trees are in small blocks scattered around the farm, so every time you fence another area off and plant it in trees, well, that's shading. You've got probably four paddocks around that's now got shade. I've got one staff member here doing most of the stock work, so I'm quite confident with him on a two-wheel motorbike, and we can get around the farm all year round. It's saving our tracks. We don't have to use a tractor. We're not making supplement. We're not feeding out in the winter. So it's just a case of motorbikes and dogs going around the farm, and it's doing very little damage and shifting the mobs. Approximately 5 years ago, we diversified. We were trying to grow our business, and a kiwi fruit orchard came up available through some friends of ours actually, and we stepped into that. It was 3 hectares producing on T-bar at that stage. The 3 hectares was converted to pergola system, and a new irrigation setup was put in. Plus we planted another 5 hectares all on pergola. and that 5 hectares is just coming up, getting its second lot small crop off that this year. So the first crop we had down there was 16,000 trays. This year we're hoping to get 50 to 60,000 trays off it. We started off with our children in primary school, a small rural school, and then the government introduced as board of trustees, and we very quickly got roped into that. I started off being the property manager down there, and worked my way up very quickly to be the chairman.
I was on the PTA as well, became treasurer PTA. Prior to that it was play centre with treasurer there as well, then on to school, and I've just finally stepped down from Pony Club and having a little break at this stage.
Well, environmentally, we've got 2 goals here. Our first one is to be economically sustainable. We want to be able to stay here. We want to carry on farming and have the lifestyle that we want. And we also want to do that. We have to be able to look after the land and farm it sustainably, so that you can come back next year and keep going. That's why we're with the policies we've got in place. We are trying to look after the farm, and the orchard's the same. We don't want to rape the land, basically. We're trying to manage it so it can be done in the long term and for a future generation.
We'll hopefully see the kids settled into some career at some stage, and then hopefully we will start taking things a bit easier and seeing what the world's all about out there as well.